Nolan Wells. What in the actual is going on down in Mississippi? So listen, if you got a little time, let me walk you through this, because this shit is wild. I try to stay out of it until you get all the details, but since they're circling the wagons and refusing to help authorities, I'm going to tell you what I think is going on. This picture right here, you will see Nolan and 4 of his friends that went on a boat party on July 4th. Only 4 of them returned without Nolan. His cell phone back to his mother. What the f***? Claiming they haven't seen him since 3 p.m. These people right here remember seeing them partying and throwing beer cans and causing a ruckus and starting fights all the way up until 7:30 p.m. You want me to believe a friend of yours that you've known for years goes missing in Mississippi for hours and hours and hours, and you not only don't look for him, but then you go home without him, without calling the cops, and you just bring his phone back to his mom? And then there's this video right here. Did you hear it? There is clearly an argument going on shore where they clearly say, "F you, you're not getting on the boat." Even though they didn't have time to call the police or start an investigation right away, they had plenty of time to deactivate all their social media. Not to mention, these little parents are judges, doctors, and other high-ranking members of the community. Let me see if I can play out what exactly happened here. Noah goes out on a boat with 4 of his friends. There is some sort of argument on shore. If a fight ensued, took him back out on the boat. I allegedly believe they did something to him. Then came back to the same spot they were in, partied all the way past 7:30 p.m. Have witnesses saying you were there, remember. Then brought his belongings back to his mom. Look, I hope I'm wrong here, but things aren't adding up. None of it makes sense. None of it adds up to something benign happened. We all need to be saying his name. Even if they didn't, each and every one of them for abandoning their friend, not even searching for him so that they could drink and party the rest of July 4th away. Be careful who you choose for friends. I promise you, the only way a snake can bite you is if it's right next to you. Rest in peace.
Hi guys, my name is Kelvin, and you're welcome back to the channel. There's a conversation happening online right now that I honestly never expected to see. For years, we've heard black parents give their children the same warning. Be careful where you go. Be mindful of who you're around. Don't ignore your instincts. Those conversations have been part of black families for generations. But now, something different is happening. I'm seeing white content creators, white parents, and even people who normally avoid talking about race saying something that has caught everyone's attention. They're telling black people to be careful about being the only black person in certain social groups. That isn't because anyone is saying every interracial friendship is dangerous. It isn't because every tragedy has a sinister explanation. It's because the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells has left people with questions that still don't have clear answers. According to investigators, Nolan went to Horn Island with a group of friends to celebrate the 4th of July. He never came home. His body was recovered 2 days later. Authorities have said they currently suspect an accidental drowning, while also continuing their investigation. Meanwhile, Nolan's family, represented by attorney Ben Crump, has publicly said they do not believe the case is that simple and have requested an independent autopsy. Those two realities can exist at the same time. Authorities have one working theory. The family wants more answers, and until every question is answered with evidence, people are naturally going to keep asking questions. What has made this case explode online isn't just the tragedy itself. It's the reports of conflicting timelines, the discussions about an argument before Nolan disappeared, and the fact that he was reportedly left behind before his friends left the island. Whether every rumor online turns out to be true or false isn't the point. The point is that an 18-year-old lost his life, and his family deserves complete transparency. When trust is already fragile, unanswered questions don't calm people down. They make people more suspicious. Today I want to talk about why this case has resonated with so many people, why emotions are running so high, and why so many Black Americans say this story feels painfully familiar, even as we wait for investigators to determine exactly what happened.
I saw this picture, first thought of my mind was these a kid. That was literally the first thought I had in my head. I hate you racist pieces of shit. They did find his body, so we'll have to wait and hear what the coroner has to say. But knowing how the cops operate, they'll probably rule it a just like they did that black kid that hung himself with 2 broken legs.
With 2 broke legs.
Yeah, that happened too. That was last year. They claimed a kid with 2 broken legs hung himself. You white supremacists got another thing coming, because you're going to have to deal with people like me.
The way this country talks about black victims versus white victims is disgusting. Nolan Wells' body was found yesterday off the coast of Mississippi. If you didn't know, he was presumed missing and dead on July 4th. It is America's 250th birthday, and we're still dealing with this. He was celebrating with his friends for the 4th of July, and there's now circulating video that is going very viral of what looks to be him and his friends that he went with on the beach, and there's an argument. There's yelling happening. In the video, he looks to be very calmly standing still looking at his buddies. And somehow, the conversation is about his behavior. Why wasn't he on the boat? Was he drinking? Was he going from one boat to another? Now, I'm going to give you a scenario. It's kind of morbid, so stick with me, and trigger warning. If I show up dead, washed on a beach, my community of people where I was born are not going to go, well, how was Jake acting? Did he stay where he was supposed to? Did he start an argument with people? No, it's going to go, what the f***? We have someone that would kill people out here? Jake, I love that guy. He plays for the football team. I'm just putting myself in Nolan's shoes. Nolan plays for the team. He's friends with those people. And the conversation is about his behavior. Just so frustrating. Like, racism is still alive and well just in the dialogue. Just in the dialogue. As simple as that. I just want this country to do better. And I see a future where we just stop with this and start going like, man, this kid was like his on the 4th of July, he is celebrating with everyone. And he can't even do that. We can do better. We gotta do better. Oh, and apparently one of the friends' moms is a local judge. And if you think that will work in Nolan's favor, you clearly don't know anything about the history of young black men in this country. This isn't gonna go anywhere. We have to speak up about it.
Black people, you have got to teach your kids, especially your kids that are hanging out with rich white kids. That is not good. You gotta stop letting them hang out with rich white kids. This Nolan Wells situation never should have happened. The parents of Nolan Wells should have known better than to let him hang out with these kids. I have an older son. I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but I'm just saying it happens all the time. My older son is half black. He looked more black than he did half. But he got into a similar situation. He was fighting with a bunch of rich kids,
White kids
in North Atlanta, the North Atlanta suburbs, the richest neighborhood in Cherokee County, Georgia. And he was fighting with a bunch of boys over a girl. And lucky for him, he didn't wind up dead. He just wound up locked up for a while. But it could have wound up with him being killed. And, you know, we as parents, we have to do a better job in informing our children about who they should and shouldn't hang out with, because matters. The color of your skin matters, especially when you're hanging out with a bunch of rich kids that have, you know, doctors and lawyers and judges as parents. You know that your kid is going to either wind up locked up or dead. So my heart goes out to Nolan Wells' family. I really hate that it happened to him, but you gotta protect your children, because white people will kill your children at the drop of a hat. That's just the way it is, especially these entitled little rich white kids. God loves you. I love you.
It's like they can't control themselves, bro.
Watched that video and I didn't find it funny at all. Because for one, I'm a black woman. For two, we have a different type of hair texture than any other race in the world. I asked them multiple times, no, please, no, I just got my hair done, please, no. They still proceeded to pick her up, throw her in a pool of water, and laugh. And even when I opened up the comments to the video, people were still laughing and excusing the behavior. Well, she shouldn't have went to a pool party. Well, why would you go to the pool party? They discarded anything of them telling her, no, my hair. And this is the same situation. I hate to compare the two because one person just died. But watching a boy who went to Mississippi on a pool party and the cell phone come back and his body didn't come back, it made me think of this video. You're a black person, surrounded by people that don't look like you. They don't care about anything going on. They didn't care about their hair. She's black. They don't have black hair. You think they cared about his life? He's a black boy. These, oh Lord.
You can swim down, River, you fucking retard. I think I'm saving. Bro, how am I gonna get you back home? You don't think I'm on my creek? Don't be worried. Hey, your mom's on my day. Your mom is always worried about you. I think that's why. Your dad's a person. I'm looking at you. You okay? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was okay getting over here. Next thing I'm about to swim back. I can't even swim.
Doing a good job right now.
Racist white people will wait as long as it takes. You hear me? They'll wait as long as it takes to snake you out. So when you're the only black indigenous one in the whole entire group and all your friends are the white female, hey, that's not a safe thing. It's really not. And let me tell you something, having fair skin and being the only one that looks like myself in a group full of people that are indigenous and melanated, I've never felt threatened, not once. You hear me? You know how many times I felt threatened or felt like I had to worry about anything? Zero. Because the black indigenous people do not do that snaking. Yes, there is something to do that do whatever. That's in every race. But like I said, they're not gonna befriend you. If you wanted them, you wanted them. If you in, you in. Now these white people in the case of Nolan Wells, right here, these white people in the case of Nolan Wells, how is it the only one that goes missing is the melanated man, the melanated young brother? How is he the only one that goes missing? Nobody knows anything? Nah, you white people know exactly what happened to him. Y'all know what the fuck y'all did. Y'all some real big cowards. Like I said, don't surround yourself with all white people if you're the only one of darker skin, you hear me? Because a lot of times they really envy you. A lot of times they really just want to hurt you and they'll go lie and wait however long it takes for years. Like I said, these aren't just outright racists. These are undercover racists.
Sleeper cell.
Them just as well. All you racists. And we're going to get answers and figure out what happened to this young brother. This is up.
I want to talk to y'all about Nolan Wells, but before I do that, I want to note that Nolan's mom does follow me, and in the event that she or other family members come across this video, please keep the comments respectful and in line with uplifting a family who just tragically lost their son. If there's any kind of nasty comments, racist comments, conspiracy theory type comments, my comment section is not the place for that. You will be blocked. This is someone's real life. Okay, this is someone's son. This is not a fodder for content. This should not have been Nolan Wells last summer. Nolan Wells was someone's baby. He was 18 years old, set to turn 19 next month, set to go back to playing football at his local community college. He was very well liked. He got along with everybody. He was radiant. He was a leader. And he went out with 3 friends. They went out to an island. His 3 friends returned to the mainland without him. And all 3 of those friends are white. And I know that when I say that, there are white people watching this who are immediately going to say, well, we don't know what happened. And y'all, this is the difference. If the situations were reversed, if the circumstances were reversed, and it was 3 black boys who took a white boy out, and the 3 black boys came back and the white boy did not, it wouldn't matter that they didn't know what happened. Those 3 black boys would have been in handcuffs. Those 3 black boys would still be in questioning to this day. I can see the Fox News headline now, right? They would have used it as proof. See, we told you black people were dangerous. We told you black people were bad. I've seen no such headline on Fox News about this. Have you? Even though, we know that white men are overwhelmingly responsible for situations of mass violence across the US, and I'm not saying every white guy, right? I'm not saying that. Here's the thing. Acknowledging that black people are in danger in this country, often at the hands of white people, often at the hands of white police officers, acknowledging that reality, because it is a reality, right? It's not a theory. It is evidenced by so much data and history and lived experience. Acknowledging that reality as a white person does not make you inherently dangerous, but refusing to acknowledge it does. We have to be able to recognize the double standard before we can do something about that. And genuinely, because I know there's people with all kinds of belief systems who follow me, I want you to sit with that. What would you think if you saw 3 black boys had taken a white boy out and the white boy didn't return? What would you honestly think? Throughout history, our criminal justice system has never waited to wait and find out what happens when it comes to incarcerating black people or punishing black people for crimes they didn't commit, or even killing black people for crimes that they did not commit. That is just the truth, and that is all I'm trying to say.
One thing I keep hearing is this: if nothing happened, then let every question be answered. That's not an accusation, that's accountability. Every family deserves to know exactly how their child spent their final hours. Every inconsistency deserves to be examined. Every witness deserves to be interviewed thoroughly. That's what a proper investigation is supposed to do. Unfortunately, history has taught many black Americans that trust doesn't come automatically. There have been cases over the decades where families had to fight for investigations, demand transparency, and keep public attention alive simply to ensure their loved ones weren't forgotten. Because of that history, when another young black person dies under unclear circumstances, people naturally ask difficult questions. That doesn't mean every suspicion is correct. It means trust has to be earned. What also struck me is seeing people from different backgrounds saying something very similar. Be aware of your surroundings, don't ignore uncomfortable situations, and don't assume that because you're with people you know, you're automatically safe. That's advice that applies to everyone. No friendship should make someone feel pressured to ignore their instincts. No one should ever be abandoned in an unfamiliar place. If someone in your group is missing, confused, intoxicated, or unable to get home safely, you don't leave them behind. That's basic human responsibility, regardless of race, regardless of age, regardless of background. Another reason this case has sparked so much discussion is because social media allows people to compare details instantly. Every interview, every public statement, every timeline gets examined. Sometimes that helps uncover important facts. Sometimes it also spreads rumors faster than investigators can verify them. That's why it's important to separate legitimate questions from assumptions. It's perfectly reasonable to ask why Nolan was left behind. It's reasonable to ask that investigators carefully examine all available evidence. It's reasonable for the family to seek an independent autopsy. What's not reasonable is declaring guilt before the investigation is complete. Justice requires facts, not assumptions. If the official findings ultimately support an accidental drowning, people will have to reckon with that evidence. If new evidence points somewhere else, then that evidence should be followed wherever it leads. Either way, the truth matters more than anyone's preferred narrative. Perhaps the biggest lesson from this tragedy is one that has nothing to do with race alone. Choose your company carefully. Know who genuinely has your back. Look out for one another. If you arrive together, make every effort to leave together. One decision, or one failure to act, can change countless lives forever. Nolan Wells was a young man with a future ahead of him. His family deserved to watch him grow older, not plan a funeral. Whatever the final investigation concludes, that heartbreaking reality will never change. As always, my thoughts are with Nolan Wells' family and everyone who loved him. They deserve clear answers, a thorough investigation, and the opportunity to understand exactly what happened. For the rest of us, let's remember that difficult questions are not the same as conclusions. We can demand transparency while also respecting the investigative process. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think this case shows why transparency is so important in investigations involving unexplained deaths? What lessons do you think people should take away from this tragedy? Share your perspective respectfully in the comments below. If you found this discussion thoughtful and balanced, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more in-depth commentary on the stories everyone is talking about. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and always seek the truth before reaching a conclusion.